This week, we've got results from the last UTV race of the season for MWXC, as well as results from Extreme XC out of Parker's Paradise. So strap in as we bring you up to the race pace. And welcome back to Race Pace, sponsored by CW Motorsports. I'm Doug.
And I'm Chad, again.
He's Chad once again. No, actually, we had a little recording mishap that for once was not my fault.
It was me. It was all me. My audio messed up and I saw it, and I'm glad we caught it about 60 seconds in instead of the whole thing.
Oh, you wouldn't have gotten a show, people. I'm sorry. There was no way I'm recording the entire thing. We did that one time, and I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, that was a pain.
Well, we're going to start out today over at MWXC in Rockville, Indiana. So MWXC ran their last side-by-sides of the year. They still have a couple more rounds, but they're not doing any more side-by-side racing. And our own intrepid race driver, Barry Miller, who also doubles as our reporter, evidently, pulled in the number 3 spot. And that's actually all he needed. That sews him up second place in the Pro Turbo Pro row, like the front row there. I don't think they call it Pro Turbo. It's just Pro.
Pro, yeah.
And then that actually got him the first place overall for points. So he ran his own race, set a pace he needed to run to finish in one of the top spots there, got himself on the podium, sewed up the points race. Everything's pretty good. So Adam King and... Congratulations, of course, to Barry. But Adam King and John Barnes were his co-racers / nemesis, whatever that would be for the day. But
I don't know. Whatever.
Adam King is in an X3 and Barnes is in a Razor. In fact, he's not in a Pro XP though, right? He's still in just an XP Turbo.
Well, no, he was running his Pro XP. He kind of ran a mix of both of them this year. But I think
there's
at
the
least
picture
the
of
last the last 2/3 of the season, he's run that Pro XP.
So, in keeping with our customers, viewers, listeners, whatever's requests, we're trying to let you know what machines they're in. But a couple of X3s there at the top, and then, of course, the Pro XP. But good race out there. I don't have a lot of other information for you, but we do have verified top 3. And, again, congratulations, Barry. You ran a great season out there. And sewing up a points race, as we've said before, is a hard thing to do because if you miss one race, you're really out of a ton of points, and not missing any races in the UTV world it's a
really
challenge.
Tough. Yeah,
definitely.
Now, the only other thing we have from there is we have a picture from Jason Bunch. He managed to snap one. John Barnes folded his door back.
Just slightly, a little bit.
It looks like it's not even there. It's folded all the way back against the rear body fenders. So things happen. I don't know what happened, but things happened.
Sometimes you're driving through the woods and you open the door up to, pour your drink out. And I don't know. I honestly have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
So that's what we've got from MWXC, but that is the end of their season, unfortunately. The last couple tracks are just not set up for UTV, and typically the last round has never been a UTV event anyways. So with COVID and shifting around and having to reschedule races, that's just how it ended up. But
yeah.
I suppose we are knocking on October. I mean, this is going to come out on the 29th of September, so It doesn't seem like it, but we're there.
Yeah, we're right at the end of the season. It's just what it is. So I did head out to Extreme. I went out there because it was a much closer drive from where I had to be earlier in the day, so instead of, anyway, much closer drive.
The best of reasons.
Laziness has motivated me. Well, I mean, you get done with a race, and sometimes it's 8 o'clock at night, and then you got a 2-hour drive home, or you could be, an hour drive home. I'll take the hour drive home.
It does make a big difference. Plus, we haven't been out to Extreme in a while, and there are some exciting happenings out there.
There was. So, first and foremost, Devin was in a Razor.
So we had Steve in an X3. And now we've got Devin and a Razor, and I'm really not sure what to think about life anymore.
Yep. So Steve had contacted Devin and was like, hey, you want to run it? Because, Darrell, Steve's wife, this isn't a Pro XP, she ran the Powder Puff the night before, and they were out at Parker's Paradise this whole weekend. But
and I've got to interject there. I'm really, really, really pleased with her because she finished without breaking a U-joint, which means she listened to my advice about not landing full on the throttle from last year.
Yes, she learned, I guess. She learned. She finished first with that machine, no damage, and then Devin and Steve got in it, and Devin ended up finishing first. So you had first place was Devin Smith in a Razor, which is very weird, his first time ever driving that machine. Second place was Alan Burton, and third place was Jonah Warmer. And Alan is in the RS1. He's been in that same one all year, and Jonah is in a 18 XP Turbo. So, Alan, he did the unthinkable too. He bent an HCR control arm.
Wow. How does one do that?
A rock.
Well, yeah. Okay, I can see that. Come down just right and...
Yeah. So he lost an axle the first lap, he said somewhere. He doesn't know exactly where. It spit the whole shaft out. It left the two ends, one in the hub, one in the diff, and spit the shaft out somewhere.
That's a new one.
Yeah. Now, if you remember, Doug, what was it, 3 years ago, that's where we lost an axle, and that axle whopped around in there until it took the brakes out.
I still have nightmares about that, yes.
And we were going anyway. It didn't matter.
It didn't matter, no.
I don't need brakes. They only slow me down.
Well, we didn't need them after we hit something else later and bent the front end up once again, so it just...
Well, without brakes, that's going to happen.
Well, yeah, I know, but still.
So there was some other interesting things out there. Mikey, he's a fabricator over in Terre Haute, kind of does a lot of work for some side-by-side guys. He took his machine out, his first race ever.
Ooh.
Yeah. He started back with the 800s, and he's in a 1000. He told the...
That's a little step up.
He told the registration people, he said, I am not out to do anything but just have fun out here. Put me in the very back row if I possibly can. There's a fly bothering me. And they put him back there.
Nice.
So he was out there. That was good. He had a ball. Didn't tear anything up. We had PJ was also out there in his YXZ. He didn't do so hot. He had clutch problems. Who else? We had Michael Plank out there in his RS1. He did pretty good. I think he was fourth is what he ended up getting.
Okay.
So he had some troubles too. It's Parker's Paradise. It's tight. He bounced off a tree. I'm gonna kill this fly. There's a fly just annoying me.
Yeah, there's several places on that track where you can get into trouble, or if somebody else gets into trouble in front of you, to get out and around them is difficult. In fact, that's why we ended up breaking an axle and having it swing around and ripping the caliper off, because we were just desperately in an 800 trying to scramble up an embankment to get out and just didn't have enough wheel speed to make that happen and ended up snapping an axle. But the other option literally was to sit there and wait for a wreck to clear, which during a race, 3 seconds seems like an eternity. To sit there for 10 minutes waiting for somebody to get pulled off there's no way.
Yeah. So, let's see. Who else did we have out there? Man, I know I'm forgetting some. But it was a good turnout. They had about 20 cars out there, which for running 2 series on the same day really actually isn't bad.
No, it's not bad at all. It's
There
actually
was
pretty impressive.
Yeah, there was some excitement on the start line. Maybe Doug will throw the video in here. But an X3 decided to roll itself over.
I'll give you the play-by-play here. Guy was a little bit exuberant, and it went end over end. And it does show you that you can actually roll these things. I mean, we tend to talk about how stable they are, but man, if you catch a wheel just right, you're done.
Yeah. And the thing with the X3s that I've kind of noticed is the Razors, because they sit a little higher, you can feel them start to go over and normally catch it. The X3s, I think it's a much finer line of being able to catch it before it goes over.
Yeah, they don't lean as much. You definitely have a little bit less of the gyroscope in your head telling you, okay, you need to back off.
Yeah. I'm not saying you can't catch them once they go up on 2. It's just a lot harder to catch them. So
yeah,
that kind of is what it is there. But all in all, good turnout. Yeah, the reason Devin won, see, Alan Burton actually started on row 1, and he did good. Alan was doing good even with only 3-wheel drive. But Devin ended up making up the time from row 2 and getting him on time correction. Devin got him by 15 seconds or something like that.
Which I did. I actually wanted to go back to the Alan Burton thing because honestly, I'm really impressed that he was able to hold his own out there with 3-wheel drive like that. I mean,
right. And you're talking about 3-wheel drive and down, I don't know, 100 and something horsepower.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like, if you're looking at just the stats on it, there's really no reasonable way he should have even been remotely close.
Now, I have a feeling if Devin was back in his X3 and Devin was full on race mode, he would have actually caught him physically as well. But being in Steve's machine, I know Devin, he doesn't want to tear up other people's stuff. Not that he wasn't driving fast out there, but I'm positive he was not, at full chat.
Yeah. He was moving, but I don't think he was at full pace.
Yeah.
So, no, but it was a great race. It came down to literally the last lap. Devin was, 40 seconds behind him, is I think what we counted, or 45, and there was 40 seconds between the rows. So Devin had to make up the time on the last lap. So it came down to a really good race. It was fun to watch. It was dusty, as you could well imagine. We haven't had any rain down here in 2 months. So,
oh, man. So it's been super dry down there.
Yeah, and Parker's is a lot of clay, and it just gets pulverized into this fine talc moon dust stuff that just goes everywhere. So that's what it was for the most part.
So I'm looking at Extreme's schedule, and they only have one more race on the schedule, which is round 7, October 17th and 18th, the Robinson Rumble, which 17th and 18th I think is on top of AXCC. And right. I don't know if round 7's a UTV round for them either.
It is. I talked to Tabitha last night. It is, and that is actually out at Michael Plank's house.
Yeah.
So, that'll be a good one. There's guys that have said, and not just because they know Mike, but they said, I'm going to go to that one because that's a fun track to run.
Yeah.
So, that'll be a good one. I'll definitely try and make it to that. But I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. So that's going to be their last round coming up. And then AXCC's got 2 in October. We gave you dates last week. That was one of them. And there's one a little bit, is it next weekend?
Yeah, I think they're just a week separated.
Yeah, it's next weekend and then 1 week off, and then the 17th and 18th, and then AXCC is done, and IXCR's got another one coming up as well. But we're right at the end of the season. A couple years, 2, 3, 4 years ago, people would run a little bit later in the season. I mean, a lot of times they try and be wrapped up by mid-October, but it wasn't totally uncommon for seasons to be running into early to mid-November to try and make up rain races and stuff like that where they had to cancel. But man, with this shortened season, it seems like everybody's just trying to put a bow on it and walk away, kind of lick your wounds and get to next season. So really, we've got about 3 more weeks of racing, and then that's going to be it.
Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. Also, next week, we mentioned IXCR is next week. I'm pretty sure that's their last round. But Wagglers is also next week, and that's their short course event out there, and that's where I'll be heading. So there's that. The only other one that I am going to run in is there's the one we mentioned last week when we were talking, Eureka. It's out there in Missouri, so that's where I'm going to go run. It's a new short course event, so.
Yeah, just double checking. So, okay. AXCC is round 6 is on October 17th, and round 7 is October 31st, so their last day is Halloween. And then, yeah, IXCR is coming up here. John Vincent, Cross Plains, Indiana. So that's on this coming weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, they're on top of Wagglers, or Wagglers is on top of them, however you want to call it. But so it's unfortunate. The cars will be spread out a little bit across the two races. So the guys that are going to IXCR for points won't make AXC or Wagglers. Man, I'll get all the series right at some point.
And then, of course, if you just really, really, really feel like running an endurance race, there is the option down in December in Texas. 12 hours. We talked about that last week, and a lot of people are going to try and make that one. Sounds like an interesting one, but you definitely need more drivers and more support and less vehicles. Like, I don't know what to expect in terms of a starting line, how many people are going to show up, how many machines are going to be there. Yeah. But you've got to have enough people to run an operation like that. 12 hours of racing in a UTV cross-country style is an eternity.
Yeah. You better have a bunch of spare parts and some good pit guys.
Yeah.
So I was thinking Texplex was going to be mostly short course. From what I was told, it's actually only going to be about 1/4 or 1/5 short course, and the rest is going to be XC. Now, Texas XC
style XC, yes,
is different from our XC. Like their XC is, you can still pass in the woods and everything. Not around here. You stand zero chance of passing in the woods.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of track they come up with. I'm actually excited about that. I like the idea of it being a little more wide open for a long race like that, because honestly, after 3 or 4 hours of racing in tight woods, you are just going to make a stupid mistake. And this kind of eliminates some of that. It gives people a fair shake at actually running the entire race.
Exactly. I mean, you can only push hard for so long before you make a mistake. Yep. Like, you just lose focus for that split second, or, the corner gets a little more wet from people dragging water up out of a creek, and you push a little wider than you thought, or whatever. We'll see. My real question is, I wonder how the ground's going to hold up. I know the ground's pretty hard down there, but
yeah.
That's 12 hours and I'm sure they're going to have a good turnout.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. And if things are really as wide down there as we're thinking they're going to be, I kind of wonder if there's going to be lanes where part of the track just becomes unusable, and you basically start having to pick different lines. There's still places to go. It's not the optimal line, but now it's the one you have to use because you can't traverse the 18-inch deep ruts that were on the preferred line.
But also, if everybody kind of spreads out a little bit, then maybe the corners will still have ruts, I'm sure, but if they spread out, the straightaways won't be bad, hopefully.
Yeah. Should be a fun one, though, and maybe a cure for the early winter blues / get out of your house because everyone's been trapped at home.
Right.
I think we can all do with a little bit of that.
Yeah. That pretty much, man, we have already burned up like 15 minutes or better.
Hey, we've been going over for the past few. We could shorten this up and spare people.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I mean, that's the information we got. We're not going to waste your time here. But we do want to say a huge thank you to all of our sponsors, of course, CW Motorsports, but also Watch Communications, Spanx Fab, and 834 Powder Coat. Yep. You can find us on the web at eminentperformance.com. If you go to Google and just look for Eminent Performance, it'll land you in the same place. This is available on YouTube / Eminent Performance. You can go for the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, any of the major podcast platforms. Just look for Eminent Performance. You're going to find us there as well. And if you're into social media, we're pretty active on Facebook and Instagram / Eminent Racing, because somebody else owns Eminent Performance, even though they don't do anything with it.
Of it.
No, they haven't done anything, I think, in 5 years now. I contacted the guy and he offered to sell me the name. I'm like, I'm going to pass, but thanks.
Yeah.
Especially since we don't actually make any money doing this.
Right, yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, man, racing season's wrapping up. It's starting to get cold out, and, just kind of finishing up the last of the series. Who would have thought it would come this quick, but it has.
I know. I'm just glad we got some in at all, because for a while there, it was, early in the season, it was looking a little bit like maybe there wouldn't be any racing at all. So I'll take what we can get.
Exactly.
So, all right. Anything else? Or
No, I think I'm good.
Sweet. Well, we'll leave Chad in his cram-packed shop over there. I don't know if I can't see him, but he has described that it's standing room only in there. So
it's pretty tight. That's why y'all are looking at my workbench. My camera's actually sitting on the project, which maybe I'll update you guys on the project some other show. So we'll go that way.
We'll let you get back to work. It sounds like you got your work cut out for you.
Yep, pretty much.
All right, everybody. Thanks for riding along with us. We'll see you at the track.
All right, see you guys.